Okay, my friends and gems. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. And so we're going to go over some information about the stem cell activation patches. And we're going to go over some other key points and issues about the stem cell activation patches that people have been asking about, so that this is a resource that you can refer to in the future. All righty. So without further ado, let's get started here. And let's start off with our review. Here we go. Might actually do something a little bit different this time. First of all, let's start off with our disclaimer. It's always a good place for us to start. So as far as the stem cell activation patches, so welcome my friends and gems to this information Q&A. We're going to be talking about the stem cell activation patches, what they are not, how they work, how you use them, how to apply them, and so on and so forth. So before we get going, I wanted to make sure that these stem cell activation patches, they're not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any particular disease, symptom, syndrome, or condition. We do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose. The suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. No medical claims are being made with the suggestions that are provided here. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to share with you my screen. I'm going to share with you just some before and after so that you kind of get an idea of some of the before and afters of people like you with families like yours who, before they came to use the stem cell activation patches and were actually implementing, putting them actively on their body on a daily basis, they were suffering with one condition and now another. So I will forewarn you that some of these pictures can be very graphic, and I'm going to just go back here all the way to the top. Okay, so you can probably see here pretty well. I think you can probably get a good idea. So this is going to kind of just give you an idea of what some of the people look like before they started on the stem cell activation patches and some of them after. So here we have a gal who you could see what she looked like before. You can clearly see that some of the inflammation below the eyes have lessened, and it's significantly less. You could tell that the bags under her eyes are not as marked as they were before. Here we have another gal who she actually took them days apart. On day one, you can see the fine lines and wrinkles throughout her face. You can see the marked difference. She still has the same expression on her face, but you can see how it's radically shrunk. And so she has increased collagen. She has less fine lines and wrinkles. And this is almost, not quite, but just about a year, about 11 days shy of a year. And here she goes, and you can see how much more youthful she looks. And of course, this is what she looks like now. This is after a year. Again, this doesn't happen overnight, but it kind of gives you an indication. It just shows you what, if it's possible for them, it's obviously possible for you. Okay. Here's another group of people, and we see how the hair was very sparse before. You see how so much more of the hair has come in. It's a lot fuller. Here's another person where you could see they basically had two bald spots on top of their head and behind where their little swirl is, and you could see how much more filled in this is. Here's another person, not as dramatic, but you can still tell the difference before and some more subtle difference after. This lady has a more marked improvement before and after, and so on and so forth. Marcy, I personally know Marcy, and Marcy, this is 3 years of her being on the patches. This picture is actually less than a year apart, but you can tell she had a lot of inflammation, but she had I believe she was stage 4 breast cancer. So she had a ton of inflammation in her body. You could see it in her eyes, all over her face. It was really pretty radical. She literally looks 20 years younger. Well, I think I have a better picture of her a little later down. Here we have, let me see if I can make this slightly bigger. Yeah, sometimes the computer doesn't let us make this. Why did it do that? Okay. I wanted to see if I could make this bigger so you could see here, but here's a close-up of the gentleman before. You see how sparse and how much more hair he has here. Here's another person who they had a wound on their arm, and you can actually see how it's almost completely healed, and you just have a little bit of the scar left over. I think this is kind of going to be difficult to see on the computer. So we'll pass on that, but you can see this person had an injury on their face, and you could see how much better their face is after wearing. This is day 1, day 2. This is just 24 hours. That's pretty remarkable in 24 hours that you would have this kind of an improvement. And the 5th day, he's almost completely fine. So I find that rather impressive. Here are some people. This person had a terrible car accident, and you can see the difference in 63 days from this. Normally, you would remain with a wound of this caliber. You would have a significant scar that would be there probably for the better part of the first year. And after just 63 days, their hand is back to normal. That's extraordinary, in my opinion. Here's another person. And this is just 1 month, 30 days of wearing this incredible life-saving technology. Here's another person. And again, you see the incredible wound repair. This is right after the accident. This is typical for someone who loses a finger or a fingertip. And look at how this finger was completely restored. And we have someone in our group, actually, I have someone a little boy who's less than 5 years old, who had that experience, and luckily we were able to save his finger, and his finger is fine. Here are some more people who are showing the effects of anti-aging on the face, and you can see the difference where you could see that the skin isn't as subtle, and there's less collagen here, and there's kind of a little bit, lines, wrinkles, puffiness, and you can see clearly how there's less puffiness. There's more of a glow here now in her skin, and here how the skin is so much tighter, and the increase in collagen. She definitely looks younger here than she did when she started. And with each one of these persons, actually, this is the same gal. Obviously, she's wearing her makeup, and here no makeup. And so you can see that's a pretty impressive progression. So it's evidence of the anti-aging properties. This gal too, she's lost weight. She's had obviously an improvement in her appearance. The line on her chin is pretty much gone now. You can see how there is this is after about 4 to 5 months from day 1 to day 167. Here's another gentleman, just 6 weeks. This is Sue's, her friend's dad. He went from being pretty thin to much, much fuller, thicker hair. We have Olympic athletes that have worn the patches. You see them wearing the patches. It's pretty much a common. Those were actually tested by the IOCC and the Olympic Committee. And because it's just your own stem cells that are being activated, it's perfectly accepted and widely used. And of course, you can put these on your pets and animals. We can either use AccuLife, which is specifically designed. It's actually not specifically designed for animals. The packaging is branded for veterinarians and for people, for their animals, but it's the exact same thing as the Ice Wave patch, which just turns off the pain receptors. But plenty of people take the X39 and X49 and they put them on their animals and see their animals completely, whatever condition, symptoms that their animal was suffering from, they see a restoration, not just in the overall well-being and the vitality of their animal, but even the coat color and the fur of the animals are restored. And on horses, cats, dogs, parakeets, pretty impressive. Here's a horse that's wearing this horse owner has 4 patches on this particular horse. You see on the temple of the dog. A lot of times they put it on the either the third eye or under the collar of the animal. This is someone who's had a drastic change. You could see the vast difference between her foot before as well as after. So I just wanted to share. Here's someone else who had a terrible accident, and you see the restoration of how that finger is coming along. This is someone with more around the corners of the mouth. They have kind of the droopier skin around the mouth, and it's starting to improve. Here's another gal who 93 years young, and you can see how the restoration in her face, you could see that the skin is more subtle, more moisturized, just a little pinker, not so sallow, a little just, it just looks better. And this is just 2 months of her being on the stem cell activation patches. And so we're seeing evidence of the cosmetic rejuvenation aspects of this. However, if it's doing that on the outside of the body, you can only imagine the restoration and the reparation that's going on the inside of the body. Here's someone else. She's evidencing how her gray hair, her original hair color, is starting to come back. Where we have a lot of people reporting back that their original hair color is coming back. Here's someone who has some severe conditions going on with their feet and fungal infections of the toenails and so forth. And so this person is starting to improve. Here's someone who he was told by his physician that he was going to have his leg amputated as a result of diabetes. Now, when you look at the coloring of his foot, you're going to see the difference and how this person no longer, actually, we don't have the picture right here for that particular one. I don't know. I think that one may have been removed. But you can see the difference in the scarring here, how much lighter this is. Here we go. 2.5 years after surgery, right knee scar, 4 months after surgery. Okay. So this person, you have, this is the xanthelasmas. You see that every now and then with elderly people. And they use the X39, the mother stem cell activation patch, for 6 months. You can clearly see how this has been dramatically reduced on both eyes. See how it's just a tiny little excess of skin, like a little skin bump here, and you see how much larger it was here. Same thing on this right side. Now it's been reduced kind of dramatically. This is actually a friend's dog who he had a eye cataract, and you can clearly see the cataract is now gone, and you can see where they put the patch on him, and his original hair color is starting to come back after just a few months. I think this was, I can't remember if it was 2 months or 4 months of wearing the patches. This is Dr. John. This is what Dr. John looks like now. This is what his hair looked like when he started on the stem cell activation patches. And this is what he looks like now. He still has a little gray on the sides. If you see him on the videos and on my Facebook, he's one of my friends on Facebook. He's one of the 711 doctors and holistic care practitioners that are in our group. You will notice that his hair is now all brown, and then it's just gray along the edges. But you'll notice that the fine lines and wrinkles around his face, see, he doesn't have this anymore, his forehead. And when you look at the live videos, you'll see that that's actually how he looks now. So he definitely looks like he's at least 15 years younger. I would say maybe 20. And what's exciting about him is that his right bundle branch blockage, which was the primary motivation for him to get on the stem cell activation patches, that was resolved, and his right bundle branch blockage is no longer in his heart, and his 3 cardiologists that were monitoring him, needless to say, they were all surprised. And so that was very exciting to see. Here we have Jerry. He had a scar from back surgery that was 4 years ago. And you can see the change of not only the scar, you see how it's kind of more jagged and deep and red. And oftentimes with scars, you'll see that it'll either stay red or purplish in color. And the consistent, sometimes, some people form a keloid, which is kind of a thicker overlay, almost looks like a bonded skin that comes on top. This person doesn't have that, but they just have the deep red, and still it's kind of jagged and not really smooth yet. But you can see how 6 months later, this is what the scar looks like. And now this is, you can see also the difference in the quality and the texture of the skin, how it has improved and increased. So from April, 6 months later, to October of the same year, and then the following year in August, okay? And this is somebody who put the aloe vera. Aloe vera is not only for your skin to increase epithelium and peptide, but this also activates your pineal gland. So it activates your pineal gland so that your melatonin, this is to be worn at night only, because otherwise you'll get sleepy in the afternoon if you're wearing it during the day. So you put that on to activate your pineal gland. You put it on your third eye. You can also put it, some ladies like to put 2 or 3 of them on to reduce and to eliminate the fine lines and wrinkles on their forehead. Some people have frustration lines here. They'll either have 1 line or 2, or sometimes as many as 3 in the middle of their, in between their eyebrows. And so usually when you remove that aloe vera patch, you'll see that the lines are gone. It's pretty astonishing when you, the first time you see that happen to yourself. So this person had very painful varicose veins, and you can see, this is what her legs are like. You could see the little bit of puffiness over here. And it looks like some of it is starting to get flat now. So that's just evidence of the veins, because varicose veins are overstretched veins that then kind of pucker up through the top, layer of your skin. And that's why then they're evidenced on the top of your skin, usually on your legs, front or back of your legs. And then they'll smooth out as the elasticity is recovered and replaced through the activation of the stem cell activation patches. Then it starts to shrink because you have an increase in collagen and a replacement and a rebuilding at the cellular level of whatever cellular damage you have there. Any inflammation is now taken down, especially with the Fantastic Five. And so then you have that reparation that's taking place, and it's evidenced on the skin. Here's a gal showing, the lines across her forehead, and she's got some of those frustration lines that I was talking about earlier. And you can see how much less. You can see how across the middle here, it's almost gone. She still has a little bit on each side, but it's definitely not as deep as it was before. Everything is much lighter. I think there's another picture of her later on where it shows her full face, and you could see how much less wrinkles she has. Here's somebody else. This is the before they started on the stem cell activation patches. I believe this is Parkinson's. I was going to say, I believe this is someone with Parkinson's. And so this is their foot before, and then this is the after. You could see the inflammation that they had before, how you can't even see the bones of their ankles. And now it's reduced to where their legs are now more in the normal state, still going through, obviously, the reparation and restoration at the cellular level, but a pretty drastic improvement from one to the other. And it says here, Celine's father was 87, had Parkinson's. He walks with a walker or cane. His energy level is typically low. She asked him to try the patches. This was the result from just 24. So this is just a 24-hour time frame. So from this to this in 24 hours, I don't know of anything else that will give you these type of results in such a short time frame. I don't know of anything. We're the only ones with this on the market. There's 120 different patents. And so there's no one else that has invented this technology or tried to replicate it or duplicate it. We're the only ones. Okay. So inflammation in his feet was all completely gone. Mom texted describing him as bright, chipper, ready to start the day. Then he had energy, went for a walk by himself without his cane. Wow. So he lost his cane, no longer using the cane or walker in the house. That's after just 24 hours. His wife said, someone has kidnapped my husband and left her with another guy in his body. So that's the result of one night on Eon. The next morning, X39 and X49 were applied to the back of his neck. So he's slowly progressing to get onto the Fantastic Five, which is the X39, the mother stem cell activation patch, X49, glutathione, which is your master detox antioxidant, carnosine, all things related to your cardiovascular system, bone, muscles, muscle strength, and brain processing speed. And then Eon, which is your master anti-inflammatory. It eliminates your inflammation from the top of your head down to your toes, but it also creates brain balancing of your right and your left brain hemisphere. Here we have another one. I love when we have our quadrupeds that are on here. I tell people, if you have pets, don't throw away your patches after you've worn them for 12 hours. Once you've removed your morning patches from wearing them 12 hours, take them off, and you could either put them on your pet or you can put them on your bathroom counter. Many people will put them on their animals, and you can see that this beautiful quadruped, this dog, had obviously a cataract in the eye. And they said they cannot get the vision back. So this person put X39 on their dog, and after 10 days, look at the before and after. So this dog now has the gift of having their eyes, basically their eyesight was restored and their eyes were restored. And so if it did this for the eyes, can you imagine how much more benefit there has been to this animal throughout the different systems of the body? Very, very exciting. This is somebody who is somebody who's using the stem cell activation patches in Japan. So here's another person we've got going. And again, they've got some varicose veins that are, showing through the skin. And you could see where they're wearing their patches right below the knee. And on this side, they're continuing to wear the patches. They moved them right on the shins, the top and the bottom. Doesn't say here, this is a result of just 30 days being on the patches. So that's a pretty significant change in just 30 days. Here's another person who had surgery, and you could see the difference of before and after. This is just 8 days after wearing the X39 mother stem cell activation patch. Okay. This is someone who had Bell's palsy. She had the paralysis to the left side of her face. It doesn't really say here what was going on with her eye, but there's something going on with her eye, which is why she has her eye patched. And I would imagine, I can guess that she might have some sort of, your binocular vision is affected sometimes when you have neurological conditions. Sometimes the eye can't track, and your eyes, instead of working with bifocal vision, sometimes then your eyes will work independently and it'll make people dizzy. So sometimes they'll patch the eye just so that people can reestablish their, themselves. So you can clearly see that she has a paralysis that's on the left side of her face. Here you can see that that is completely gone. You could see that her binocular vision is working, which is interesting because a lot of ophthalmologists will tell you that after the age of 8, that you can no longer have the fusion of your right and your left eye because of usually your neurological maturity is usually done for most people by the time they're 8, no more than 9 years old. Some people as young as 7, but usually 8 or 9 years old, that binocular vision. At that point, there's not a whole lot that usually ophthalmologists can do. They can do things that cosmetically will work, but not necessarily where you can actually have the binocular mechanics of the eyes work together and synchrony without getting too technical. So in this case, it looks like her eyes are working, her binocular vision, or, it seems to be working fine. But more importantly, her palsy is gone. The paralysis that she has on the left side of her face, that seems to have been resolved now. And now that is restored, where the nerves have obviously been repaired and reset and restored. Here's someone with really severe psoriasis and eczema. Some doctors would call this contact dermatitis. It says here this person has psoriasis with 2 weeks usage of of the stem cell activation patches, and you could see that it was a really pretty severe condition. You may or may not know that your skin is your third kidney. So your body looks to get rid of anything that doesn't serve it, any toxins, any waste, any chemicals, anything that it's trying to purge from the body. It's going to get rid of it through perspiration, urination, defecation, and to a certain degree, exhalation as you exhale. And so your skin is trying to get rid of that waste. A lot of skin conditions are caused as a result of your skin trying to, it's one of the delivery methods and the delivery systems to get rid of toxins from the body. So here, this person had severe psoriasis. And after 4 months of using these stem cell activation patches, you could see how much better the skin is. And it's incredible how their skin is restored here. Here's someone, it looks like they've been diagnosed, it almost looks like rosacea and psoriasis. This is a very severe case of psoriasis. And this is before and after just 17 weeks of using the Y-Age, which is part of the Fantastic Five. That's these 3 patches. And now you see that she goes from this severe state of being. You see the progression here, front and back, where her skin looks pretty darn good here. So this is the result of someone on their team, on our team, wearing the Y-Age protocol, which is these 3 stem cell activation patches, glutathione, which is the detox, glutathione, carnosine, all things related to cardiovascular system, heart and muscle, brain processing speed, and then Eon, the master anti-inflammatory. Anytime you're having any type of a skin condition, any kind of contact dermatitis, things like that, it's evidence of massive inflammation in the body. Here's Marcy. She's a friend of mine, Marcy. This is her about 3.5 years ago when she started. She was suffering from advanced stages of metastatic breast cancer. I believe it was stage 4. You could see she had massive inflammation throughout her face. It was even closing up her eyes. Yeah, you could see a lot of things going on in her face. Her face, her weight, her entire system after just, this is, I believe, it was either 4, 5, or 6 months of being on the stem cell activation patches. She literally looks 20 years younger. She is in fantastic shape now. Her hair is vibrant. You can see how thin her hair was. Her hair is like now soft, silky, smooth, fuller. Her skin is much, much better. She's done a total 360. She's doing fantastic. Here's another person. She looks significantly different from day 1 to day 555. So this is the person, the longest that I've been exposed to. I don't personally know this gal, but 555 days of wearing the patches. So that's a significant change and difference for her too. So you see day 1, day 7, day 107, day 132. She has a lot to be happy about, as does Marcy. Here are more people with severe skin conditions, and you could see the progression. And look at that. That hand is free of that now. It's really remarkable. Here we have one of the docs, was thin, balding, gray, and you could see how the hair is growing in. You see a lot of black, dark hair that has come in. So it's not as light and it's fuller, starting to come in thicker. And over time, I would imagine that would all probably fill in. So that's just 1 month of wearing this patch. Amazing. Here's someone who had an accident. Pains me to see people in pain like this. So they got him patched up here. You can tell they've got ice wave on him. I can't tell the rest of the patches because they're not labeled, and that's done on purpose so that you don't have ink. Ink is not good for you. So it would not make any sense to put that on the actual patches themselves because you would be absorbing the ink. So, but you can see the difference after just 2 weeks, how his skin Look at how much smoother the lines that he had, even his spleen. This is a sign of things kind of going on with the spleen. And then you've got frustration kind of here going on. Lines across his face. Look at how much smoother this is. Look at how this is healing up so nicely. And look at how you've got a glow to the skin. This is a little bit reduced, still working on, you know, things in his body. So 7 weeks later, as he continues to wear these stem cell activation patches, it's just going to get better. Rapid restoration here. So we're going to be on here about another 3 minutes, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. This is thermal images that are shown demonstrating the local and distal cooling effects that are created by reflecting the infrared energy from the energy enhancer patches. Let me see if I can share with you what that sleeve looks like. A sleeve is just a thick envelope. It's created to protect and to contain a 30-day supply of these patches. So this is energy enhancer. This is the first patch that was created back in the year 2000. This is what the Department of Defense hired David Schmidt to create a stem cell activation patch that would increase the energy, boost the stamina and strength of the Navy SEALs that were in the Black Ops. So this image that we see here before us is showing the local and distal cooling effects. Local, distal means far away from the body. So the effects created by reflecting infrared energy from energy enhancer patches and the temperature gradients clearly show the distal cooling effects. The color palette shows the hottest temperatures as red, which would be here, balanced temperatures as green, and cooler temperatures as blue. So you see how this is before and this is after. The beneficial cooling effect of the patches can be seen in blue and green colors far away from point of application of the patches, and a drop in skin temperature initiates an autonomic response in favor of parasympathetic arm of the autonomic nervous system. So here you clearly see the before. This is the back. This is the front of a woman. And then after they applied the patches, you see how much cooler this individual is after wearing these energy enhancer patches. I happen to be wearing them today. White on right, tan on left. Okay. So it's fascinating. Here's somebody else who is wearing, apparently they're wearing glutathione on their third eye. And you could see the progression from their acne, from this to, he's pretty much clear. There's a poison ivy testimonial. This picture is too small, so we're going to jump over that because that's just too little. Here's someone else who is wearing one of the stem cell activation patches on their K12, one of the acupuncture points. It's a glutathione patch and X39. So I only see one patch on them here, so I don't know if they have the other patch on their neck, maybe on the governing vessel 14, because we always wear the stem cell activation patches. They don't have to be, but most of the time we wear them on acupuncture points. They don't have to be put on acupuncture points, but that's what's recommended. However, wherever you have pain, you can point to where you feel it. You can apply a patch there to get pain relief. Okay. So this person here was wearing glutathione and X39. Didn't tell us what their before and after condition is. This person, this is a before and after, but we don't have much information on this one. So we can just see a little bit of the difference. You can see a difference in skin texture, color, etc. The lighting is a little bit different. So I always prefer the before and after pictures where you're in the same lighting at the same time of day in the same room. This is Donna. Donna, I met her in Florida. She looks gorgeous. She's just like this. Her hair apparently she had originally, grayer hair, and her original hair color has come through, and she's beautiful, tall, svelte. She looks like a model in person. She's stunning. She's gorgeous. She has an incredible presence. So that's Donna. Here's this gal in 2021, and a year later, she's lost some weight. And so she is She was happy before, but she's happier now. Here's someone who's had a significant change in their skin condition, their skin texture. You know, heaven knows how much restoration he's had on the inside of his body, but you can clearly see that he's got some things kind of going on systemically that are manifesting and presenting through the skin, across the forehead, across the bridge of the nose, under each eye, around the mouth, under the lips, cheeks, completely cleared up. It doesn't say here the length of time, but it is a before and after picture. Lucky fellow. You can even see the inflammation in his eyes have reduced, because here the hoods of his eyes kind of overlapped the edges of his eyelids, and now this part of the eyelid, it has shrunk back. This person's not even very old, but this is just as a direct function of inflammation being brought down in his body. So here's someone else who has some dermatitis kind of going on here. And you could see the improvement, the cracks, their skin is no longer cracking, which is kind of nice. And apparently somebody put the X39 on their plant. I actually did this, and my plant was actually growing too fast. I had to take the patch off. But this is an avocado plant. On the left has only been patched for 1 day. So you could see a small little bud on top. And then a mango plant on the right has been patched for 10 days. And you see now a long light green leaf, 1 or 2 leaves. Yeah, I have a plant that in my bedroom, and I actually had to take, I did the same thing. I put it at the base, I put it all the way around, and then it shot up like in a week's time. I'm like, okay, I got to take this off because I don't want to have it keep on going up to the roof. I want it to still be a decent size, you know, but not to go that tall. So it works on humans, it works on mammals, cats, dogs, horses, parakeets, and it works on plants as well. Because photobiomodulation is photobiomodulation is photobiomodulation. So what is photobiomodulation? Photo, light, bio, biological, modulation, it's the signaling. That's modulation. So this is wearable light technology or wearable photobiomodulation. So the top left here is just 6 weeks, color and feeling returned to the feet. They actually had some sort of neuropathy where they had lost the feeling to their feet. And for 5 years, they were suffering with this condition. This bottom right is 3 weeks and a large, so this is at 3 weeks, and this is 6 to 7 weeks later, complete feeling, cold, hot, itching feeling again. So that's very exciting. Some of these are a little bit more gruesome, so bear with me if you don't like to see something gruesome, but this, you can see how this is definitely healed. If any of you would like, I can actually send you this video testimonial. All you have to do is reach out to me on Facebook or on Telegram, and we'll send that to you. Here's someone else who, again, this is February 1st. It's coming up on a year now in February. And this is what her lower face and neck looked like. So here you go, 6 days later, a little bit of an improvement. 2 weeks after she started, that's actually a significant improvement, just 2 weeks. You could see how this pit is not as, look at how this has shrunk, this tissue all around this, just this midsection here. Look how this is shrunk. Look at this line, how this is overlapping and it's kind of a deep groove. Look at how it's disappeared here. That is significant in just 2 weeks. And here, 27 days later, this line again, now 2 of these lines, see how you have boom, 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 these 2, these are almost disappeared. So if she stays on this for, at this point, it'll be a year's time. I would love to see the pictures of her this year, because I'm sure that this will have shrunk because of the increase in collagen and the epithelium peptide that's activated from the aloe vera patch. It's probably pretty extraordinary. Here's someone else who, again, you see some of the rejuvenation that's taking place with her from the first 27 days. You can see a little improvement there. And the biggest improvements are going to be seen for people who are wearing this, for a year at a time. That's why I tell people it takes 7 years to replace and restore all 56 trillion cells in the body. That's without being on the stem cell activation patches. It would normally take 7 years because every organ and organ system is on a different schedule. It's a much shorter schedule for your stem cells to replace your stomach cells, less than 6 months, without being on the stem cell activation patches, as opposed to your bones, which take 2 years. Just to grow an inch, 2.5 centimeters to 3 centimeters, just to grow an inch of bone, it would take normally 2.5 years without being on the stem cell activation patches. When you're on the stem cell activation patches, different schedule altogether. Everything is expedited because you're having, especially if you're on the Fantastic Five, you're having a full system activation of your stem cells to a younger and healthier state. So here's someone who has a cracked heel, and you can see how the improvement split on heel. For a week, they put Alavita on it overnight. So this is just 24 hours later. That's impressive. Pictures taken 12 hours apart. That's amazing. I'm still in awe every time I see someone have same day, within 24 hours, within 10 days. The video that I just posted in the last 24 hours of Barbara Hummel, 10 days, lost 7 pounds, pain gone the first day, massive spike in increase in energy, her hair texture, her skin texture, and people are noticing that her clients and customers that are coming to see her at the bank every day were commenting that they can tell. It's like, what is she doing different? One thing is for you to notice and for people on the outside to notice about you. It's pretty exciting. Here's someone too, you can see a difference in their skin texture, the before and after. First picture is after 1 month and just X39, and it's a pretty big difference, yeah. There's more muscle definition in the right. This is my friend Gloria Coppola. You can check her out on my Facebook page. She was shocked when she got this picture. You know how Facebook sends you, this is what you were doing a year ago, on this day, a year ago, on this day, 3 years ago, on this day, 10 years ago. So she got this on her Facebook feed and she was flabbergasted. She was shocked. She could not believe what she saw in the picture. And when she saw her picture and then looked at herself in the mirror, and she doesn't wear makeup. So this is like she doesn't wear liquid makeup. She doesn't wear powdered makeup. She just wears eyeliner and a little bit of lipstick. So when she saw her before and after, you can see the difference in her hair too. Her hair is a darker, richer, silkier looking brown. And now this picture was actually posted this was like in October. So this is just a few months ago. And this is 3 years ago, plus a few months ago. And you can see, look at her neck. Look at the difference. Look at the texture. Look at the difference here. 3 years. She's been on the patches though for 3 years in a row. I encourage you, check her out on Facebook, Gloria Coppola. On Facebook, she's a very well-known author. I'm going to be having her share her testimony. She's going to be sharing her story and also sharing about her incredible book. She's published many, many books. She's a really cool gal. So that's Gloria. This is a repeat. We already showed this person. This picture is just, so I think we have some, this is, actually, I can attest to this too. I haven't, but this is someone who is losing a lot of hair, and they went from having large amounts of hair, they have long hair, to now it's much less hair loss. And you could see the dramatic difference in the hair balls. I noticed when I wash my hair, much, much less hair. I don't lose as much hair when I'm washing my hair any longer. And just, generally speaking, when I brush my hair and comb my hair and style it, I have a lot less hair that comes out. So here's someone, their chest, first, second, third, more. So this is January a year ago, last March, last June, last July. You can check here when you check on my YouTube channel, Love and Money Secrets TV. You can also find it by going to DameLillianWalker.com. You'll see the story of Kathy McCarthy. If you've received the text message of 5 of 12 bullet points at the bottom, if you haven't received it yet, you can request it and I can text it to you through Facebook Messenger or through Telegram. And at the bottom of the 5 of 12 bullet points, you'll see the story of transformation, and you'll see Kathy, who she's 63 years old, January of 2022, and she is a professional skydiver. So she's in the sun every day, all the time. And her chest and neck look like this. In March, significantly better, a lot less wrinkles, a lot less fine lines, better skin texture, increase in collagen. You can clearly see and witness that. Evidence is the loudest voice. Here in June, look at that. It's like 10, 15 years younger, right? And now here, virtually all the wrinkles and fine lines are gone. And if you watch the video, because, you know, I figure I really had to ask her to come on. And, you know, I said, listen, Kathy, people who don't know me, people who know me know that, you know, that this is like the real McCoy. But for people who don't know me, who are coming across my Facebook, I want them to see your face. I want them to see on a Zoom, on a video, that this is really what your face and your neck and your chest look like. Because they could always say, well, this was Photoshopped. You know, people who know me know I'm not going to, first of all, I don't know how to do Photoshop, but they could argue, oh, you had it Photoshopped. And it's not Photoshopped. This is a real you, and you're gorgeous. So you'll see the video. She looks like she's 35 years old, 40 at the most, and she's gorgeous. And she's now 64, but she's gorgeous, beautiful, and beautiful skin. And the rejuvenation and restoration of her skin is shocking, quite shocking. This stuff actually works. So here's another person. You could see the massive difference in the wound restoration from the first picture all the way to the last picture. This is a terrible jellyfish sting. It's like a burn, basically. That must have been really painful. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to open it up. We've got 6 minutes left for questions, and then I'm going to unmute. Ask both of you to unmute if you have any quick questions. I'm going to stop the screen share now. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask at this time?
Yeah, I wanted just to follow up with you on, thank you for the advice on the sleeping, just because I think that's one of my main issues right now is I'm not able to sleep. So my body's not able to really heal if I'm not sleeping. So you mentioned to put the Alavita on the third eye, or the temple, right temple. Should I continue with this? Because I watched one of your videos on how to, you showed like the, I forget what they call kinetic energy to kind of like, if you put your hand on your head, I don't recall.
Oh, you're talking about the polarity test and reset.
Yes, I watched your whole video on that, and that was really helpful. And so I was trying to see the patches, like, oh, which ones work, if the sleeping patch is working on me, and it kept saying no. So I don't know if that's true. If you think I should continue putting the sleeping patch as well as the Alavita and the Eon.
Okay, so if your body is telling you that the sleeping patches aren't working for you, so what I would say is put them aside for right now, because your body's in the process, because you just started wearing the patches. Mm-hmm. So these patches are stem cell activation patches. So the first thing, as you're beginning to wear the stem cell activation patches, your body is going to go into balance. And so everything is moved to go from a place where you have some sort of chronic inflammatory condition, and now it's starting to reset and repair and rebuild and restore everything. So as you're moving forward, there were a couple of things that I advised you to do, as you know, and so I would go ahead and put those things into effect for people generally across the board who have sleep, troubles with sleep. I try to always use whatever holistic things that are inexpensive for you to apply, and you can use them in conjunction with the stem cell activation patches. So you can take an ice cube, and then people in hotter climates oftentimes will do this. Well, they'll just take the ice cube and you put it on the back of your neck before you're going to go to sleep. Let the whole thing melt and then go to sleep. Some of us, like California, to me, this is cold. I know people in Chicago and on the East Coast are going, are you kidding me? It's only like 50, 60 degrees. That's not cold. Hey, it's all relative. For me, it's cold because it's a massive difference from 80, 85 degrees, right? So I don't want that cold to that degree when I got my fireplace on here. I don't know if you can see it from here, but fireplace on all the time, to keep warm. So you can put it in a Ziploc bag, or give me a little pause here. I'm going to show you a little You might be able to get this at, because I got it at CVS a while ago and they're reusable. So I'm going to show you a little gel pack that you can use. And I put that on the back of my neck. Hold on. So this is a little gel pack. You can pick this up. You'll see that it's got fabric on one side.
Yes.
And on the other side, it's just a gel pack. They come in packs of 2. I bought this in packs of 2. And so these are great to keep in your freezer at all time. It's great to put it also on your eyes, you know, just as a general beauty aid kind of a thing. But you can put this now on the back of your neck with the fabric side, just because it gets too cold where it's like, oh, it's too much for you to take. If you can tolerate it, great. I kind of have sensitive skin. So, but you can put this on the back of your neck, just like this. And then go to sleep with it right there. Because of the fabric, it won't hurt your skin and you'll be able to actually just put that under your neck. You go to sleep and that cold, it is directly tied. It's going to send a signal to your hippocampus where it's going to relax you and you'll be able to sleep better. And so that's a little biohack, if you will, that's holistic and it's an integrative medicine.
Do you still recommend I put the aloe vera on my third eye and the Eon, and then just not do the silent nights?
So I would say your aloe vera, were you the one who were telling me that your skin was getting a little irritated with aloe vera on your?
Yeah, like just because I have, like I said, the topical steroids, also I get rashes, like I have like skin flares, like on my face, neck, and then like half of my body up.
Okay,
is
yeah. So
flared.
if you, I mean, because just because you have a little bit of that irritation now doesn't mean that you're going to have it a week from now or 30 days from now. So right now you can move it to your, instead of your third eye, you could put it on the temple, because the skin on your forehead, whether it's here or in between your eye, is different than the skin on your temple, just like the skin under your eye. That's the thinnest skin that you have anywhere on your body, and it has the smallest pores is under your skin. Same thing on your side temple. That's a different, slightly different texture, but it's also almost touching your brain when you put it on the temple.
I was putting it on the back of my neck. Is that not a good spot to put it at?
You could put it, you can put whatever resonates the most with you. If it resonates more to put it on the back of your neck, put it there. That's a totally different skin texture, as you're well aware. So
yeah,
you could do that. You could also wear aloe vera under either earlobe. So you have your earlobe, and then right under your earlobe, there's a soft spot right at the edge, like right below the bone. You can also put it there.
okay.
So you can put aloe vera there. Silent
Okay.
nights, like you could have aloe vera on the right and silent nights on the left. You might want to experiment with that. And then you put this on your neck, so you sleep with it. And you can Google or even check on, I think you can, I think if you look on YouTube, you'll probably see some traditional Taoist, like Tai Chi, Qigong and Taoist methods that talk about using an ice cube on the neck and the benefit of that. You'll find that.
And the Eon, you don't recommend that at night?
Eon, you can wear it daytime or nighttime. So it's one or the other. Eon, if you're doing the patches at large, I would say if you want to put that on at night, it's okay. It's not going to keep you up. It's just reducing inflammation.
Yeah, because I think that's what keeps me up is I have a lot of inflammation and a lot of gut inflammation, and just, my skin is, I get itch attacks at night. Like I get really itchy. And I think because of the high histamine levels that increase.
Yeah. So if you feel that you need to wear it at night because of that, then go ahead, put it on your neck, or you could put it under your belly button. Since you mentioned stomach and digestive issues, you could put it below your belly button, 2 fingers below your belly button. That's the conception vessel 6, which has to do with all things related to your digestive organs, as well as your reproductive organs.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. So it's 8:01. So I got to get going here. I have another Zoom. I have to jump on the.
Thank you, Lillian. I really appreciate your time.
Dr. Mel and Dr. Nirmala, but I will let you guys go. Diana, thank you for joining. I know you recently started on the patches. I want to tell you welcome on board. Let us know if there's any questions, comments, or concerns that you might have as you move forward wearing these stem cell activation patches for yourself and those that you've shared this information with. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Ciao for now. Bye.